Well, it is a weird time to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. If it isn't watching this team on Sunday and being disappointed, it's following that up by getting on the internet and being told because you have a negative reaction to what you are witnessing on Sundays and being told that you are not a real Steelers fan because you won't come out in public, specifically on the internet, and say nice things about the team and about the players who play for said team. But that is exactly where we are in 2021, where a guy like myself, and if it's not obvious which team that I care about, well, I mean, I don't know what else to say. But apparently, because I am not, and I'm going to make a confession. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I have a confession. And I want to go on record as saying it, and for those who've been around since 2015, which there probably isn't many of you, I have never been the biggest Ben Roethlisberger fan. I just haven't. And yes, I am a Steelers fan, and I know that sounds bizarre, but believe it or not, there is a purpose and reason for the hat that's on my head right now. I'm a hat guy first and foremost. But I went over to the websites, Mitchell and Ness, and I said, I want to get a hat with the biggest Steelers logo on it because that is the team that I cheer for. And don't worry, chat, I will get into all the news because, yes, TJ Watt was literally just announced to be on the COVID list. So all the Steelers enablers, boy, oh boy, it is going to be interesting. Steelers Freak says the podcast that are doing all the selling fake snake oil hope for cash. Yeah, it's really that. By the way, I hope the mic sounds good. Let me know in chat if everything sounds good. I can never tell if this thing's too low, too high. Every week it's up and down. I can't get this thing to stick at the right setting, but man, I started off this morning by being called a dirtbag. And the Steel Twins have popcorn emojis in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have your popcorn, you might want to get some. And I'm going to be honest. I have no fucking clue where this episode is going to go. I have no idea where this is going to go. This could get ugly. This could turn some heads, man. The things that I'm going to talk about is not for the Steelers fan that lives in fantasy land riding unicorns. So if you're that kind of fan, you might want to get on your unicorn and ride the fuck out of here. Because not only are we going to talk about the game that if we can even call it that, we're going to get into that shortly. We're going to talk about what it is to be a real Steelers fan, because I am fucking confused, ladies and gentlemen, to be very honest with you. I no longer know what that even means. You see, back in my day, not to sound like an old man, but if you were a real Steelers fan, you were a fan of the team for many years. You cheered your team on, and that was that. And if you weren't a real Steelers fan, you were the type of person that only liked the team when they were good, and then you cheered for another team when they were bad. But nowadays, when the team is bad and you still stick with them, but you criticize them and say things that are facts, well, you're no longer real. All this shit you guys see around me right now, the merchandise that I wear 24/7, none of it exists. It's not real. I am a fake fan. I am a dirtbag, according to some nobody here on YouTube. But man, you guys in chat, let me know. I did put up a poll, and I think some people might be confused because right now the yes and no button is split. But the question is, are you a fake fan? And maybe I should have worded it better, but are you a fake fan if you judge the team? That is really what I was trying to ask. So if some of you made the wrong decision, let me know. But let me go look at chat. I need to see what's going on in chat. Danielle says I sound perfect. Great. I see a lot of people are reacting to the TJ Watt news. And in fact, let's go ahead and pull that up. Steelers Depot, the beloved Steelers Depot, great place, says Steelers have placed star linebacker TJ Watt on the COVID-19 list. If you were not afraid of what is coming against the Baltimore Ravens, you might want to wear your diaper. You might want to go grab some adult diapers, man, because it could potentially be a slaughter. And I think it is hilarious that the enablers that were on the internet today, and there's literally too many to name, man. My God. Boy, did they have a lot to say today. You know, one of the things I was seeing is somehow the Pittsburgh Steelers, who got swept by the Cincinnati Bengals, have some sort of shot against the Baltimore Ravens, who last time I checked have a running back for a quarterback. And I know I'm getting off track. I'm supposed to talk about a recap against the Bengals game, but there is nothing to fucking talk about. Nothing that I said yesterday can be changed today. There is no difference on how I feel. VZ says we might have a shot if Jackson plays but that's the problem. Jackson played much different against the Browns. You see, there is a hit list out on the Steelers, ladies and gentlemen. The entire league, and I saw somebody in chat here said something about Ryan Clark. And fuck, is he right? I never liked Ryan Clark, the commentary guy. Ryan Clark was one of my favorite safeties on the Steelers. But I was never a fan of his commentary until today. And he said it so beautifully. So beautifully. And you know what else is funny? And I think that's what's going to happen. This entire episode is just going to go off the rails. And I hope you guys are okay with that. We're literally going to just bounce around and freestyle this. Mods, is there any mods in the chat that can help get these comments approved? Because YouTube is censoring people that are using the word ass. Shout out to Lucky Charm. Miss Lucky Charm, how are you doing? Do I have any mods in the chat? V's, I need to make you a mod. Let's do that. Twins, I don't expect you guys to be able to help because you're at work. There we go. My brother got a wrench. I don't know why he didn't have a wrench. Steel Twin says it's not just Ryan Clark, Chris Hoke, Ramon Foster, Alan Faneca. Yeah. Steelers Freak says Mark Madden might be an arrogant fuck because he has a high IQ, but the Steelers just give him fuel for fire. That is right. And I'm going to start sweating in this bitch because of this hoodie, but... And somebody's fucking car outside the house here is going off, so that's just fucking lovely. Probably because the dipshit that drives around blasting his fucking music drove down the street. But anyways, let's look into something else that I need to point out. And I saw this right before I went live. The Steel Twins responded to it. In fact, can I see their comment? I can. This is why people complained about Juju last year. 3 games, losing streak, and Juju dances on logos. Now here's Chase encouraging fun when we just got swept by a divisional rival. And I'm going to like that. That tweet right there should be going viral. Viral. Because it's the truth. According to Brooke of, I believe, ESPN, she says, asked what could be done to help improve the Steelers' practice. Chase Claypool has suggested playing music. Playing music is going to help this team get a Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. Did you not know that? Oh, it makes so much sense. That's the problem. We didn't have enough music. Not enough TikToking. Not enough dancing. That is what it is. Let me just say this. And I'm going to pull the camera back up here briefly. Chase Claypool, I need you to kindly go fuck off. Mr. 1 touchdown on the goddamn season. I'm telling you right now, I'm about to go off the rails. Chase Claypool, you spent your entire offseason goofing around. Yeah, I said it. If it wasn't you embarrassing yourself by talking shit when you had no room to do so. You were doing YouTube videos with content creators instead of practicing and taking things seriously. And I think it shows on the field this season. And I do hope, because I am a Steelers fan, I do hope you turn things around for your 3rd year. V's says, oh snap, I got a wrench now. Juju might have really rubbed off for that comment. Man, this is going to tie into, and I guess this is a good way to transition into a video that I did, ladies and gentlemen, in 2019. 2019, I had this question: do the Steelers have a culture problem? Chat, I don't know how many people are in here right now, but there's quite a bit of guys and ladies watching. Do you guys think the Steelers have a culture problem? And as Steelers Freak just said, when former players are complaining, I know it is bad. because it's true. The things myself and the Steel Twins have been saying for years that people don't want to hear is true. Probably because I specifically have been watching this team since the early 90s. Since the early 90s. Jordan Mid says, I can't really blame Claypool because Ben. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop there because here's why. Everyone deserves blame on this goddamn team. It ain't just Ben. It ain't just Claypool. It ain't just the defense. This entire team is a fucking walking dumpster. In other words, they suck. And I'm sick of the Christmas joy that these fucking so-called real fans have, thinking the Steelers are going to give them Christmas gifts. It ain't going to happen. And the reason it's not going to happen is because you do not have the personnel. And your best player on defense is now on the COVID list. And all you're left with is, you got Hayward. You got Minka. It took him, 11 weeks, 12 weeks to get a goddamn interception. Yet somehow we're going to finish the season and slide into the playoffs when we just got swept by the Bengals. I mean, I need to know what kind of drugs these people are taking. I need some of that. Because I don't know about you guys, but the world since 2020 has been a living fucking mess. This year is over. And I am confident in saying that. And I've been confident in saying that for weeks. And that's just the truth, man. Your best player is on the COVID list defensively. I'm going to play something that Ben Roethlisberger had to say. We're going to switch over. I'm going to play. We'll pull this up here. I want you guys to listen to what Ben Roethlisberger had to say during his press conference yesterday.
Ben, did you lobby to stay in late in the game? Did you want to try to build something for next week?
It's not about building anything for next week, but I went to coach and just asked him if he wanted to take Naj out. I think that was the smart move. Games like this show a lot down the end, down the stretch of the game. It shows about a person, a team's.
Yeah, it shows a lot of horse shit. It shows that you guys aren't prepared. You got guys out here making excuses as to why Ben Roethlisberger threw an interception yesterday. I mean, my goodness. Oh, they have no communication. Holy shit. Isn't that something you're supposed to get figured out in the preseason? I mean, I'm losing my mind, folks.
Character, their will, their heart. And when you're down a bazillion points at the end of the game, do guys quit? Do they stop fighting? Do they give?
Yes, they do. That is very clear when you see Devin Bush and his controller disconnected. Or Edmonds, his controller disconnected. Guys falling on the ground after missing a tackle, and instead of getting up and putting some heart and trying to run down the ball carrier, they just lay there. Yes, Ben. Majority of the team has given up. And if I'm being honest, I don't think a lot of your teammates believe in you, sir. But let's continue.
Give up a little bit, or do they continue to fight and fight for each other? And so I didn't ask Coach one time to come out.
Of course you didn't, Ben. Of course you didn't ask the coach to come out of the game because you don't give a shit. You're the guy that threw 2 interceptions in this game, hurting us. And some of these doofus fucking fans today watching Moats this morning. Oh, it's not Ben's fault. And besides, it was only 10 points. It was only 10 points. Really?
Because there's a Steeler way, and it's fighting to the end. And I thought, for the most part, we did that. Guys showed their character at the end of the games, and who continued to fight and who continued to get extra yards. And I mean, Pat takes a.
Oh, you mean in garbage time, Ben? Really? You guys showed heart? Or did the Bengals feel sorry for your asses? I mean, wasn't it Boyd earlier in the season who came out and said this team had no balls? And here you are. Oh, we had a lot of heart in the fourth quarter, just like we did against the Chargers. What? What?
Crazy hit to the head. People will say why, but it showed his heart and his character. And a lot of other guys, Deontay, I thought the line up front, I thought a lot of guys did that. And so games like this are when that's revealed.
So he doesn't blame the offensive line. Ben doesn't blame the offensive line. And normally, those who aren't casual fans, they know that when Ben Roethlisberger feels like it's his fault, he puts it on his shoulders, and he admits that. When Ben makes a mistake and he wants to put it on himself, he'll let you know that. But not this week. This week, without saying, he indirectly was putting the blame on the defense, which some people got on my ass about that too today. Saying, you're not blaming the defense. I mean, these people clearly do not watch my live streams. The defense has just as much fault in these losses as Ben Roethlisberger does. Chase Claypool, an offensive line. I don't know how many times I have to say it. This team sucks. And it's because we have complacent coaches, complacent staff, and it starts at the very fucking top. And I pointed it out 3 years ago. God rest his soul, Dan Rooney. We miss you. We miss you because since you have moved on to another world, another place, life has not been the same as a Steelers fan. Because this team has not only a culture problem, but they have created a delusional fan base. But fortunately, not all of us fit into that mold. Not all of us are drinking from that Kool-Aid. And I'm here to tell every single person watching me right now or watches this replay, before you hit that dislike button, as if I give a fucking Devin Bush, I am going to be a Steelers fan until the day I am put in the fucking ground. And in the process of being a Steelers fan, I am going to talk about the good and the bad. And if you don't like it, I could care less. I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. I have been wrong many times, and I come out and I say so. I admit when I'm wrong. But I'm willing to bet everything I have that this team is not going to be not only not making it to the Super Bowl, I can't even see how we get into the playoffs. Steelers 63 says Ben just spewing nonsense and gibberish. Listen, man. His demeanor, the way he was just standing at the podium, you could see it. These guys don't give a shit. They do not give a flying fuck, bro. But you know who else doesn't give a flying fuck? I am going to play a video from 2019. Now, it is an 11-minute video, but I want to play it in the just full, all the way through. And you guys listen to it if you want. If not, you can tune out. I don't care. But I said this in 2019, and I feel like, and the Steel Twins agree with me, a lot of this stuff can be applied to today. Let's talk about culture. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers locker room culture. Let's talk about Art Rooney and his defense for this culture that he claims is not the problem, or is not a problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, we're not gonna make a timeline here of all the antics and shit that we've seen from Le'Veon Bell
from Antonio Brown, specifically Antonio Brown, I should say, from Ben Roethlisberger, James Harrison, and multiple other people over the course of 3, maybe 4 years. We're just not going to make a timeline because I think everyone at this point knows what has happened over those or over the course of those years. I think we all know about the antics on field, off field, especially from Antonio Brown. Sitting in front of me right now, I have some quotes from Rooney in regards to the Pittsburgh Steelers culture. And by culture, I mean locker room culture. I mean team culture. A key ingredient to winning. Art Rooney said, "I certainly don't think we have a culture problem." Now, right there, he already fucked up, in my opinion. You cannot sit here, look Steelers fans in the face or look the media in the face and say this team does not have a culture problem. Because the same argument you're making that this team has won games, more so in the regular season than the playoffs, you're not going to sit here and say that there's not a culture problem, because if your argument is that this team is winning, then why haven't we made it to a Super Bowl? Because we all know, especially in 2016 and 17, the Pittsburgh Steelers were a Super Bowl caliber team. If you look at statistics, you look at the rosters, there's no other explanation. So if we're a winning team in regards to play, what is the problem?
Now, I want to interject here with my 2019 self and remind the listeners that are listening to this that a lot of the stuff I'm talking about in this specific video has to do with Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and those guys. And I'm going to get into the juicy stuff in this video. But again, and Steelers 63 says, Claypool has got to grow up or else I can see him going down the wrong path. I don't know if I'll go that far because I don't want to be that guy, but I will say this. There is 100% a culture problem with this team. And to interject into what I was talking about in this 2019 video, the Steelers also had a very poor defense, which is one of the reasons I never drank the Ben Roethlisberger Kool-Aid. Reason being is I am very aware that the reason we won those Super Bowls, Super Bowl XL, was because of our defense. Yeah, Ben had that one amazing touchdown to Santonio Holmes. I will never take that from him, and I am very grateful that it happened. But James Harrison also had a 100-yard interception pick six. And the reason we got to those Super Bowls was because of our defense, which nowadays is nothing more than a shadow of the great past that we used to have. So what is a culture problem? Some of you might be confused. It's not music. It ain't music. Culture ain't music or how you're dressing. It's the Steelers' way, which is why a lot of you are aware that former players are not happy right now. Because nobody on this roster, Ben included, and shame on Ben for not trying to implement those Steeler ways. You got guys goofing around. You got a lot of guys goofing around in the locker room. You got Claypool wanting more dancing in practice because it's fun. It's fun. Really? Boy, I tell you, man, you don't need dancing or music. You need to practice fundamentals. You need to practice on not dropping passes. Maybe if Ben isn't at fault for those interceptions, maybe Claypool needs to be, I don't know, checking out your fucking playbook. Because if it wasn't Ben's fault, then you ran the wrong route, sir. Steel Twin says the standard has changed for the worst. Changed for the worst, man. You are not wrong there. But let's get back into this 2019 video.
Why did they not make it to the Super Bowl? Why did they lose in the playoffs? And why did they lose games during the regular season that they should have won? You're saying we don't have a culture problem. But if you ask me and anyone with a fucking brain, that is exactly what you have. You have a culture problem. You have players throwing temper tantrums on and off the field. You have players getting into trouble in the offseason. You have players giving the media fuel to talk about everything with the exception of football.
Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, not to toot my own horn, but if that does not speak volumes to what we see now. Let me rewind that real quick. Let me go back a second here.
Have players giving the media fuel to talk about everything with the exception of football.
Oh, does that not ring a bell to anybody in the chat right now? What has Pittsburgh media in the last, 3-4 years has taken off? Pittsburgh media. Us fans always complain about how negative they are and calling players out. Don't you think there's a reason for that outside of the obvious stuff like clickbait? Making a little bit of money. Yeah, I mean, all that stuff applies, but the players are doing themselves no favors. No favors.
That, my friend, is a culture problem. You have players throwing other players under the bus. You have players throwing the coaching staff under the bus. You are firing coaches that should not be fired.
Yeah, Steelers 63. I'm going to stop this. You know what? You said Ben, to be truthful, is not a nice guy. He's not. You know, he blocked the entire fan base a few years back on Twitter because he couldn't handle the criticisms that were being put out there every time his dumbass threw an interception.
Fired. And then the coaches that deserve to be fired, AKA the entire fucking defensive staff.
Man, that voice crack was cringy. I'm just saying.
Instead of firing the right personnel, you're keeping the wrong personnel. And that, my friend, is a problem. Those are the problems with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, Rooney, I'm sorry to inform you, my friend. The Steelers have a legitimate culture problem. But look, let's get right back into the quotes here from Rooney. He goes on to say, we won 13 games in 2017. So if you have a culture problem, if you have a discipline problem on your team, those kind of teams don't win 13 games in the National Football League.
And that's where I'm going to stop this video. You guys can obviously find the full video and watch the rest of this. I'm stopping it there because what Rooney said back in 2019, and he was referring to the 2017 season, saying that teams with culture problems don't have losing seasons. What was last season, ladies and gentlemen? The team went 11-0. And what did we see week in and week out? We saw a bunch of guys in the locker room goofing off, doing TikTok videos week in and week out, dancing every time they could on the goddamn field. They're having so much fun. And don't get me wrong, the game should be fun, but I think this team had a little too much goddamn fun. And by the time they got to the playoffs, they got punched in the mouth. Punched in the mouth. Sent home. Same old shit. And as Leedy said, Steelers freak, Ben leaving alone makes zero difference because, again, it starts at the top. Ben leaving isn't going to fix the culture problem. Jesse, thank you for subscribing. The Hawk, what is going on, bro? He says, wait, I find it hard to say fire the whole D staff with so many injuries to key players. I say we have a defensive development problem. How long will we have a shit secondary? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That is our biggest weakness as far as development goes, is not being able to find defensive backs. You're actually 100% right there. TJ Black says, who do we cut? Well, I don't know who you cut exactly, but I'll say this. It is time to move on from Ben. I am very aware that Ben is still capable of making a few good passes in a game, but his decision-making is only going to continue to get worse as he ages. Yes, Ben is a Hall of Fame quarterback. No one's ever questioning that. Oh, boy. Zach in the Chicken Gang says, let the players goof off if it's game, but if they are losing because of it, then crack down on them for being dumbasses. No, I think you should crack down on it no matter what the outcome is in a game. I don't care if they're winning or losing. Goofing off is just not acceptable either way. Which is why back in 2017 and 2018, I criticized the team when they were up, when we were playoff bound. Because you're not taking this game serious when it fucking matters the most. You see, what you stupid fucks don't realize, and I'm not referring to everybody in the chat, but there's a lot of dumb fucks watching. There's a difference between a Ben Roethlisberger and a Tom Brady, and you can leave all the conspiracy theories at the fucking door. There's a reason why that man has won so many Super Bowls. It's because he applies himself to the game. He takes things seriously. But what do I know, man? What do I know? Christian says Ben's 2019 contract extension set the Steelers back at least 3 years. I remember a lot of people saying that years ago. Man, did that age. Steelers Freak says they should all go to the Barry Sanders How to Act in the NFL school. That'd be nice. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Let's get it out of the way, man. Let's get this shit out of the way. Let's talk about this game. And where do I start? I'll start with something that's troubling. Something that I want to point out as we are getting prepared to play the Baltimore Ravens, who, for whatever reason, some people think we're going to somehow either split or actually sweep these guys. Wow. Joe Burrow ran a touchdown on us. Touchdown, man. A quarterback. In fact, the entire rushing department put 198 yards on us. Let's get off the Ben Roethlisberger talk, because honestly, I'm tired. I'm honestly sick of talking about the guy. In fact, I'm not even going to talk about his stats. I want to focus on the defense. Because this defense is not even remotely close to what they were a season ago. Some of it has to do with injuries. Obviously, TJ Watt has been announced that he is on the COVID list, which means he's not going to be playing against the Baltimore Ravens. But it also has to do with this team letting go of players like, I don't know, Mike Hilton. Say what you want, Bud Dupree. The unfortunate situation with Tuitt losing his brother, which I hope he gets better and he's able to return to the game sometime. in the future. But you take all those excuses away, because those are all the excuses. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're left with is a team that Mike Tomlin and everyone else on this staff thought was good enough. And they still, believe it or not, Ben said in his press conference that he believes that this team can, or no, I'm sorry, it was TJ Watt. He believes that that we have the players on the team to get wins. Which is, I guess you got to look out for your brothers. But I want to focus on the Baltimore Ravens. And when I look at this Bengals game, they ran the ball all over us. And I've been saying this for weeks as well. This is a problem because now the entire NFL is on notice. They know. To beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, all you got to do is run it down their throat. Take it old school. In fact, take a page out of the Steelers' books themselves. This defense is trash. And Jackson is going to have a field day on us regardless if he threw 4 interceptions against the Browns or not. Because what you idiots failed to realize is the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a secondary like the Browns. In fact, our secondary has sucked forever. I can't remember the last time we had a good secondary. That's how long it's been. Losing to the Bengals was the worst thing that could have happened for this team. And there's no other way to put it. You know, kudos to Minka for getting an interception in this game. And I understand that he's not being utilized the best way because you got him playing in a linebacker position basically because teams are running the ball down our throat. So instead of playing safety, he has to now come down and play linebacker. Because we don't have a defensive line. And guess what? Complacency comes again. Complacency shows its face again. When the Steelers didn't do what they needed to do to make the team better before the trade deadline. You mean to tell me there's no free agents out here that couldn't play better than what we have? Shit makes no sense to me. Moral of the story is the Pittsburgh Steelers lost 41-10. And they got swept by the Cincinnati Bengals for the first time, I think, in forever. I can't even remember the official last time that they swept us offhand. But I know it's been a long time. And I also know that this was the nail in the coffin for the 2021 season. And I am more than confident in standing behind those words. Leedy says 2009. There you go. 2009. That is a long time ago, man. What else do we need to talk about? What else do we need to talk about? Is there anything else going on, like with this COVID situation? Is there any other players involved? Check out this comment here. Get over Juju. He was the only receiver that was actually doing anything. Everyone else had their drops. The losing streak was the farthest from Juju's fault. And Claypool is just spitballing. It's not like they don't work out game plan in the is the main problem, and he can't say that. Again, these are enablers, folks. These are people that enable this bullshit because they just accept it for what it is. And they can't see the writing on the wall. But I want to know what you guys think, man. I'm going to turn this over to the chat now. In fact, I'm curious. I want to see. Let me pull up the Steelers' remaining schedule. Let's look at the remaining schedule here. So, again, we got Baltimore coming up, and that's a 4:25 p.m. game. I don't know if you guys remember the Mike Tomlin doesn't play good at 4 o'clock games. Well, there you go. Then we play Minnesota, which let's go look at what they're doing here. Let's see what Minnesota's looking like. Devin Cook, 773 yards on the season. Man, oh man. And there it is right there. Cook has dislocated his shoulder. I mean, this could be one game the Steelers do pull a win out on, just because Minnesota's been wishy-washy. And as Drew said, that is a Thursday night game. Then we play Tennessee, which me and the Steel Twins will be physically at the game, so I will not be doing a watch party. Although I might try to go live briefly from Heinz Field. And then we play Kansas City, Cleveland, and Baltimore again. I definitely think a loss against Baltimore this week is going to be the true ending of the season for a lot of people that are still holding on to a little bit of hope. And honestly, Jesse says he can see us beating the Browns. I can't. If you want me to be honest, I cannot. Because their running game is just so effective, and there's nothing the Steelers can do until the offseason to fix that problem. There is nothing they can do to fix that problem until offseason. Steelers 63 says short week versus Vikings, sure to be troublesome. I mean, it is not looking good for the remainder of the season, but I will continue to, create content on the channel. But I think I'm going to try to make this the last time that I have to go on this insane rant about not only this team, but defending the fact that I am a true Steelers fan who honestly is not happy about speaking on the team this way. I don't know why people think I like getting on here and screaming, losing my voice, and trashing the team that I love. You can go back to last year and see that I gave just as much effort bragging about the team as I do trashing the team in 2021. And I really hope that this team finds a way to change things in the future. But right now, it is not good, and I'm going to continue to talk about those things because it's facts. I'm not going to live in La La Land. And that's just what it is. Still Release says 5'11" and 1 should be high enough for Kenny Pickett. I think a lot of us want Kenny Pickett just like we wanted Harris. The pick is in, man. The Pickett is in. But that said, I'm going to get on out of here. I'm actually missing dinner right now, believe it or not. I wanted to do this early, get you guys in the chat, talk about this stuff, get it off my chest. But man, next up, Baltimore Ravens. We will be going live Friday night between 6 or 7. I'll let you guys know in the next couple days. And my brother VZ is supposed to be coming over for that game, so that should be an entertaining stream. And I hope you guys tune in for that. But until then, I'm going to get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. Steel Twin says the stream was fire, dog. I appreciate it, bro. I really do. And honestly, I could have took this thing to a whole nother level, but I think I'm done here, man. I think I said what I needed to say and get things off of my chest. V says, I'll be there. We'll talk more about it, V's off stream. We'll talk about all the details and figure out how we're going to do everything. Fiend says, sorry I was late. No, you're good, bro. You're good. Usually I go live at 7, so it's technically not your fault. But I thank everyone that tuned in to the stream tonight. You guys are amazing. I'm enjoying seeing this channel continuing to grow. One thing I do want to talk about before we get out of here, SteelYinzers.com. I am proud to say we are now selling official Pittsburgh Steelers jerseys. As you guys can see, they are made by Proline, so they are replicas, but they are still they're still licensed jerseys that you guys can purchase, which will go through Amazon, as well as some other items. As you guys saw on my table, the floating helmet, people have been asking me where they can get that. You can get it on SteelYinzers.com. And they also have this new one, which is a floating football that is a Bluetooth speaker. In fact, I'm probably going to end up buying this one myself. Make it a Christmas gift of some sorts. And do not forget, we still have these items here that are on sale until Wednesday. So you can get your official Steel Twins and Kold Steel merchandise. And Steelers Freak says Bush jerseys are free with 24 hours of community service. Oh, man, I love the Bush jokes, man. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, definitely do so. You guys can follow me at Kold Steel 412, and that's Cold with a K. Let's get that numbers up, man. I'm only at 80 followers. Let's see if we can bump that up to 100 and continue to grow on Twitter as well. I think eventually I'm going to start doing Twitter Spaces occasionally where we just come in and chat about the Steelers. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. But until then, bro, I am going to get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you guys Friday nights as we will officially talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens game. Talk about what needs to be done. And talk about what could potentially happen. But until then, again, you guys take it easy. I'm Kold Steel, and I'm out.